Hello, my name is Typhon. This is going to be my first video, and today we're going to be talking about Resident Evil Requiem. Regardless, I'm going to show some gameplay while I talk about this. This footage with me is my stream. If you are interested in seeing the whole thing and my live reaction, you are able to check it, and you're able to check it out if you want, with the name right here of my footage right here, while you guys listen to me rant about this game. This may contain some spoilers in the story and some gameplay, so you've been warned. Hope you guys enjoy, but first things first, my first opinion is about this game as soon as I finished it. I got a good hefty amount of hours in it, which is 28 hours, which is not a lot, but it's a lot for a game that is based on a story driven path game like this. Or at least that's how I see it. And what I have to say for it, it's good. Nothing to really write home about, but it's not bad either. Personally, these types of games, they're good as a way for me to turn off my brain because personally, I don't go really in depth in video games. I don't go up to, like, let's say, vending machines to see what brands they have in there. I just enjoy the game, what it was designed for, and not really go in depth with the game or the characters. Regardless of this, but there is some good details I would like to mention during this game. What I noticed, especially when they're first starting off when you're playing as Grace. See why people kind of hate her due to the fact that she is new and not really well developed into the story and trying to fit in, at least from what I can gather. And I heard that someone hates their voice acting, at least from what I heard. And personally, I like it. She, at least for me, what I have really goes well with the fact that as a character, her character is just to be a person that is a day-to-day life, even if she is part of the FBI, that has no training whatsoever in these type of situations, and her trying to survive regardless of her mentally being okay with dealing all of this trauma. Not even accounting the fact that in the beginning of the game, it shows that her mother died very early at a very young age. And also, before she died, they used to be on the move quite often, which means Grace wasn't able to socialize like any other teenager or kid. It would leave more her leaving to being more antisocial and not very know what to say and how to interact with people. Also showing throughout the whole story. It's notably in the beginning of the game when she talks to the cop, doesn't really know what to do first, and then realizes what to do and show her FBI status to the cop and lets her in to the crime scene. Specifically when her mom dies, she shows a very real interaction. Even before, just moments before she died, that she's like panicking, having nervous breathing, and calls the cops immediately, and like not really know what to do and very scared. Which I think that the voice actor for Grace sells very much into this character, showing that like she is not a soldier or any kind, which makes her more human, which I really appreciate of. Okay, enough about the voice acting now. As for the game, these games are always similar in at least how what I play for the Resident Evil games. And yes, I did play the originals, I did play the remakes, and it always felt the same to me, at least in a way of get this, do this, and then oh you have to do this again. And do not get me wrong, doesn't mean I hate the game or any game like this. I really like it because it's a story game and I just like it for the simplicity of it. I mean, I have over 60 hours in Resident Evil New Village. And no, it's not because of the vampire lady, but I actually enjoyed the story there and its simplicity in gameplay wise. Now I feel like I'm getting sidetracked here. Back to Resident Evil Requiem. Overall, it's a good game. Overall, I liked it more than Resident Evil 4 Remake. I personally like the original more, because I don't know why, but I just do. For the Resident Evil 4 Remake, I only played it once and couldn't have the energy to do it again. Unlike for New Village, I played multiple times on. Gameplay wise, I really like the blood collector and how you use it to craft certain various items, even stabilizers, and even magnum ammo, or whatever you want to call it, if you want to be specific. Another thing that I like about this game is the fact that it's so much different when you're playing as Grace than you're with Leon. Grace, it feels like they focus on the horror more, especially when you're on first person and every turn is a chance to get bit. But for Leon, it's totally the opposite, focusing on gameplay, the combat, and like all of these different variations of guns and weapons you're able to use at your disposal, completely changing the game upside down, which is I think is a nice way to not get bored of the horror and not get bored of the combat. It's switching back and forth, and it's short too, which I also think is a nice touch because you don't. It doesn't feel dreadful. I know there will be people out there who don't like a short game and want it longer to feel more worth of their money, but they said they're gonna make a DLC, and I'm pretty sure that it's way more worth than having a longer story. Another reason between laying on the Graces could be the fact that I also have the aim in general. For Grace, as your aim, in either perspective of first person or third person, you can tell that she's shaking very, very much so, but it gets better as she continues on with the story. And as for Leon, his aiming is already, up to B since, he's used to this since Resident Evil 2. Alright then, I feel like I say some really good positive things about Resident Evil Requiem, and now I'm here to talk about the negatives or even just nitpicks of Resident Evil Requiem. First off, I don't like Leon's part. Before you guys come hate me in the comments or whatever you guys want to do, the reason why I don't like it is because Leon is not very interesting of a character, at least for me. I get it in the Resident Evil 2 game, he's more scared and all that since he's everything's happening all at once and stuff. Why for this game, he's not really doing that. I get it that he's old and that he has been done this situation multiple times, so it's just why he's very not very reactive towards stuff in the game, especially he makes one-liners. It's like, oh, I want to make a second opinion, what makes it really feel like very lackluster, not really any human really like emotion into it, which makes the voice acting a little plain. Well, that's how I see at least what we were given with the Leon's voice lines. Though he did make some pretty funny jokes. I did chuckle a few of them, at least eternally, I guess. This does not mean that you don't have to like it or have to like it because I said I like it or I didn't like it. This is my opinion, and you can agree with me if you want or don't. This is my opinion, regardless of what others may say. This does not also mean that I did not like playing as Leon compared to Grace. I did like the fact that of his weapon range and the fact that you get able to use the motors when you are picking up the broken piece for the detonator. Now here's the story part of this game and what I think about it. It was alright. Some parts were more memorable than others, and like it feels like you are able to at least forget easily about stuff of the lore than others. And yet I can be dumb sometimes, and here's a clip that perfectly shows that. I'm stupid again. This also happened to me on my first playthrough, and this is my fourth playthrough. Shows really a lot about me. Which is why you shouldn't take what I say about this game very seriously, or take it too much into heart, since I am just saying what I have personally feeling towards the game. This game has gotten me so many times at so many points. One of the many examples here is when you get surprise attacked by the girl when you first brought Emily to the puzzle box. Speaking of Emily, she is my favorite character because the fact that like how she interacts with Grace and the world around her. It's obvious that she is blind and that she can't really see. So when you shoot out of her container, she really reacts by looking around her, not really know where it is exactly. And the fact that she is very scared and doesn't acts like at her age, a girl. And sorry if you hear stuff like this. When I'm saying stuff, I am very let's just say impulsive. Either way, back to Emily here. I feel like in most games, especially The Last of Us and many other games, when there is a girl, you get that a protective side of you to always be there for them and try to protect them as much as you can. Which is why every time I watch The Last of Us or play it again, every time I see Sarah die, it always does something different. It always does something to me. Getting off track again. This is Resident Evil, not The Last of Us. What am I doing? Okay, whatever. Back to Emily here. She's very good at very getting that protective side out of you. The voice acting really comes in par, especially with the sense that she hasn't really experienced much in the world and that she was mostly in the lab and doing studies and whatever they done to her. And I was not expecting them to just ending up like killing her off at the end there. It was so shocking that I cold heartedly thought that she would have made it towards the end there, but she did not, and she ended up dying. That's another daughter lost. I already said spoilers or whatever, and she does come back alive and gets cured and gets her eyesight back, which I thought it was so heartwarming to see her in that picture frame with the teddy bear with Grace. It just shows that despite of everything, you could still smile through and brush off and able to move forward step by step. Which is why it was heartbreaking to play as Leon and had to shoot Emily while she's mutated down. I was so hesitant to pull the trigger. It was so bad. Oh my god. By the way, for context, if me playing this game, I'm playing on Insanity mode, and I'm just letting you see what happened if I didn't get him. Yeah, that was bullshit. But either way, it was nice to know that Insanity Mode they really changed it up for you by changing the safe code random like to a different one. Therefore, you couldn't just like use the same code over and again. And the RIP knives that you just saw right there are very different and add more to it by making it more worth using the knife more than just using it for scrap to get extra ammo or using my favorite thing about the thing but this crafting recipes are the what I like to call kablooey. Basically, what you can do, you can either use it to sneak attack zombies or use it when they're stunned. And once you use it on the zombie, best if I show you. And that's why I call them kablooey grenades or kablooey injections. There we go. I find these so much fun. I find myself actually going for crafting these instead of crafting bullets, even if it was more practical. Especially since if you can use them on down enemies before you could stop them turning into blister heads, which I also think was a nice touch that they could either get up without turning into a blister head or they turn into a blister head and they become more wired to deal with and recommended not to go ahead them unless you're using the Requiem right here. Which is also another nice touch that Grace doesn't really know how to handle this weaponry, that she does so much kick when using this. While Leon here is already used to it and able to control it, especially once Leon gets cured from Elpis and she is able to use it with one hand. Yes, I did realize I called Leon a she. Don't judge me. Leon still slays, okay, even at his age right now. And as you're watching this, you probably realize I'm using the FBI suit or her classic business suit. And that's why I could appreciate a woman in a suit. That's all I gotta say. As I rewatch this, I'm realizing I'm slowly drifting away from me talking about this game and setting up my personal gameplay experience. But at this point, I don't care anymore. When I first played it and finished through, I thought it was great. Personally, the final boss, I thought it was kind of cliche. Like when you first fight Victor the first time, it was good, but when you get to the final form and all that, I felt like it was like Nemesis or something. It felt like very the same, like copy and paste. I saw the cup form that was supposed to be like a snake-like, and I thought that'd be cool since he's wearing a snake scaled jacket. Speaking of Victor, his character is like he just admires his idol. That's really it to it, and he believes his idea. But while his actual like idol, whatever, is trying to change because he feels guilty from all those experimentation and tries to change through grace by helping her, by nurturing her to greatness, and giving her to a reporter to take care of. Another thing that I thought was pretty funny is the fact that Zeno and Victor thought this that grace was this key and fulfilled a great prophecy. That was like the only reason why that I forgot his name, but I'm too lazy to Google it to like brought her in and all that, which I thought was pretty funny because it turns out she was just a regular girl that was also homeless. Speaking of Zeno in the first place, mate, like he was this big bad when we get his first introduction, and then like he dodges the bullets and like does his kills off these super soldiers very quickly in Raccoon City, and just to get one tap by Victor. I realize that now that they're not super soldiers actually, they're just people, but yeah, whatever, I just keep it in. I don't feel like retaking. When I first saw Zeno die, I thought he wasn't actually dead. That he was gonna come back one way or another. He's like Wesker, but from Timu. Not even. He's from Wish. He's like the Wesker that's like, go you watch Wesker? Now we got Wesker at home, sweetie. And that's just the Wesker we're talking about. And I get it that Zeno used Opus and got rid of all of his powers or whatever they want you want to call it, whatchamacallit. And now he's a regular human, got killed by Vector because he was now just a human being. And then that was, it makes sense in a way, I suppose, but it was so lame. We didn't even get to fight him. Or like, it would have been cool if we were able to like at least do a one sequence, like what they did with Typhon. No, I forgot his name, but the guy with the border hat that's bald when you meet in Raccoon City. I know someone's gonna hate me for this for not recognizing his name, but I don't care anymore. Like for example, he'd be just you just since he has super speed, he would just be toying with you, and like every time you try to run away, you just like he would just zip there, and it'd be like an awesome chase scene. Wait, have I been saying Vector like the Despicable Me villain? I said it Victor. I don't know which one's which. Uh, I don't know. Either way, he has a massive forehead and goddamn mess up teeth. He was definitely a silver teeth kid. I mean, takes one to know one, but bro, he needs to go to the dentist. No, I think the dentists were like, "Nope, get out of my room." What's also funny about that part that Leon also said, "Oh, when was the last time you brushed your teeth?" It was pretty funny. Also, before that, the silent treatment was also pretty good. All right, here we go again. All right, back into the what I was talking about, my opinion on this game. Overall, it's good. It's not the best thing in the world. I'm pretty sure there's better games out there, and you can definitely make points that it is or that it isn't. Either way, I like it. That's the end of the story. And as for a rating, I'll probably give it like 8.9, I think, if I add everything up. And that is because Emily survives. If Emily stay dead, bro, it'd be a zero. All right, it'd be a zero. That concludes my opinion on today's video. If you like this, don't do the thing, and maybe leave a recommendation of what game you would like to review. And I forgot, I have no idea how to pronounce this, but I'll put it on the screen right here. Yes, that game. So if you're interested in seeing my live reacting to it, don't forget to check, and maybe I'll make a whole other video about my personal opinion on that game. Yes. If you made it this far, thank you for watching for my opinion. As for this is my first ever video posting on here. And hopefully it does well, if I could probably do more in the nearby future. But only time can ever tell. Alright, how do I do outro? Do I just scream? Alright.